Good morning. I'm Sunil Jain. I'm the managing editor of the Financial Express. We've just had a budget, and as you know, all the hype around it told you people are expecting a lot. So really, what has the budget delivered? Actually, quite a lot. In the what I mean, we have to look at if I can just get you to cut down to this screen. What exactly were we looking for in this budget before the finance minister started? We were looking at is he going to stick to his FRBM target? And there were a lot of people who argued that it doesn't really matter that much because the growth is back. We're looking at what he's going to do for capex, what he's going to do on subsidies, how he's going to fix the tax disputes, and what he's going to do for recapitalization of PSU banks. I'm happy to say that on 3 of these counts, the FM has delivered very well. The biggest constraint that India faced right now was the economy stagnating. And as we all know, the corporate balance sheets as well as the PSU, as well as the banks, for PSU banks primarily, are in no position to lend. So India Inc. could neither get equity nor debt. What the finance minister has done, which he was expected to do, was to dramatically increase the amount of public spending. In fact, the railway minister day before yesterday told us about what was being done in the railways. He has now announced a big package for for the road sector, and along with that, there's some very, very positive moves on investment trusts and REITs, which are all financing mechanisms that people hope to get. So I think he's done very, very well on the public, stepping up the public investment, as a result of which that fiscal deficit target has been breached for the current year. And frankly speaking, the fiscal deficit is only sacrosanct when private sector investors are investing a lot, which they're not doing. So I think we can do with it in the country. We'll have to wait for the fine print, but one very big change that people expected was the cut in subsidies. To what extent would the direct benefit transfers through the PM's Jan Dhan Yojana actually start cutting subsidies or wasteful subsidies? The finance minister has talked about it in the past. He's talked about it today. The prime minister has talked about it. But frankly speaking, until we get the fine print, until we get the budget documents, we don't know what's happened on that. So I think that's a bit of an uncertainty there. The abolition, the lowering of the corporate tax rate is probably a very sensible move, because it will bring your tax rate over 4 years. I agree. It will bring it on, it'll make it align it with other countries. But the big change here, and I think that cannot be underscored more, is the fact that he's going to clean up tax exemptions for the corporate sector. This is a source of great discretion, of bribing and corruption, and as the finance minister said in his budget speech, of a lot of tax disputes. So I think he's really cleaned up that. If I just go through some of the other things which I think are really positive, of course there is the GST announcement, which we all knew about. He reaffirmed that. That was a good thing. There's a lot of more money for rural India in terms of priority sector credit and things like that, which is a positive for the rural thing. I think the SMEs are going to get a lot more money. That's again a very, very big positive. It's a lot got to do with the fact that the government wants to create more employment, so I think that's good. For banks, the fact that within the year you will get a bankruptcy law, that is something which you cannot overemphasize the impact of that. That's going to be fantastic, because that will set off a chain of development in India. What's going to happen is that bankrupt producers can be eased out of banks, out of their companies. The banks can take those projects, sell them to other people. So, that's a very, very big positive. It looks like a small step. It has huge, repercussions. I think the fact that, individuals like us, for example, we will have the option once a finance bill has been introduced, of moving away from the EPFO to the new pension scheme. As the finance minister said, as all of us know, that the EPFO and the ESI don't have customers. They've got hostages. So you've got an option to get out of that. There's a lot of work on dematerializing of gold. So, in that sense, in a broad sense, this budget has done a lot. What are the disappointments? I think there are 3 or 4 areas of concern. One is, I think, the fact that there hasn't been sufficient clarity. What the finance minister said was that the CBDT will issue some clarification. But you've got, if you just get back to this thing in the middle, you've got 4 lakh crores of money stuck in tax disputes. Now, there has been no clarity yet as to how this is going to be fixed. If this doesn't get fixed, private investors find it very difficult to come back. So I think that's, there's one area of disappointment. I think, as I told you, the food subsidy, we have to wait for the fine print. We have to wait for the budget documents to see what he's really done on that. I think the fact that he hasn't moved quickly enough or talked about how quickly the government of India will reduce its holding in banks so they can become more independent in the way they work, that's a big disappointment. And though black money has been one of the avowed sort of goals or promises of this government, the fact that they're going to have a special law on black money with, a non-bailable and with 10-year prison sentence, 7 to 10-year prison sentences, sounds very good on paper. The way the taxman operates, I think there's a serious concern there. So I can understand the finance minister's political compulsions for doing that, but this cell has to be monitored very carefully. The taxman over the last few years has gone really amok, and arming him with more powers, I don't think it's a great idea. But net, I think the budget had a certain goal to get India's investment back on track. It's done that. So, maybe 8 out of 10 or 7 out of 10 on that ground. Thank you.